We'll happily discuss how Am and Ellen are perfect literary foils. So this is for the narrative of the short story. People seem to forget that, like, the radio drama, the short story, and the game all have different canons. Because some of you were like, oh, Am's a war machine, he can't, blah, 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 blah. Y'all, in the short story, Am is near omniscient and has godlike abilities. The point I was making is that Homie didn't even try. The trying part being the main point, not whether or not he could actually do it. Anyway, on to the actual thesis of this video. Am and Ellen kind of serve as the angel and devil on our main character Ted's shoulder. Ted and Am are parallels, which is why I see the ending as a bit more uplifting than others. Homie overcame his, like, hatred and paranoia and pain to make sure that everyone else was freed, but especially Ellen. And like I said, it was kind of implied in the short story, if he had not, like, taken the time to hug her and comfort her while she was dying, he might have been able to off himself too. And yes, there is a problematic trope of women always having to take care of men within this story. This was written in the 60s, and compared to other sci-fi where women were mostly just like objects or completely non-existent, reading this was refreshing to me. I've been stuck with this short story for like 7 years now, and I finally have people to talk about it with. That being said, I think one of the reasons Am is kind of hands-off with Ellen is because Am tried to crack her and couldn't like the others. With Benny, he physically deformed him and took away his cognitive abilities, making him the complete opposite of who he once was, which was this smart, handsome doctor, even taking away his sexuality. Next is Nimdok, who was also implied to have been like a brilliant guy, but now is just a shell of his former self. Gorrister used to be a volunteer, used to believe in world peace, and now he's completely and wholly apathetic to everyone. Ted just used to be a run-of-the-mill guy, and Am has turned him into a paranoid, self-hating, and outwardly hating mess. And Ellen was chaste. She wanted to save herself for marriage. So Am, in his own twisted way, was like, oh, well, I'm going to make you hypersexual. But instead of that breaking Ellen like it did with the 4 men, she used it to help everyone. Even though herself doesn't really like the fact that Am has essentially forced her to be like this, she still is using it to try and better the lives of everyone around her. She actively tries to give the men comfort, like not just but also just, you know, in the radio drama, there's a beautiful scene where she just holds Ted. And it's not fair that all of this is placed on Ellen's shoulders, but I think it exemplifies how she is the last piece of humanity left on the planet. She is all of the good of human beings, the kindness, the empathy, the sympathy, where Am is essentially all of the bad, the hatred, the self-loathing, the violent. And that's why I think Ted's choice at the end to follow in Ellen's footsteps is so impactful. And that's why I think him taking the time, knowing full well that Am's probably going to do something god-awful and horrible to him, to make sure in Ellen's final moments, she feels the comfort that he consistently got from her. I'm gonna cry. And what's really interesting is that while, yes, Ted is now Blob, Am can't mess with him like Am used to be able to. Am used to be able to physically torment his toys, and now that he realized, oh, they can get broken beyond repair, he's kind of just forced Ted into this homunculus form. And I think that's because Am was shot with the realization that, oh, if these 5 go, I'm completely alone. I love Ellen so much, and she's the most wonderful woman in the world, and she deserved so much better than what she got. And I'm gonna always be mad at, like, the Am girlies that try their hardest to downplay Ellen's suffering. Like, just like Am, you can like him without trying to pretend that he's like an uwu misunderstood baby in canon. Like, Homie's an evil monster. Just love him for being an evil monster.